Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pillar to Post, a WrestlingRevolution.com exclusive podcast, but also playing on Blog Talk Radio. As some of you may have noticed, we have started an hour earlier. We'll see if this schedule sticks. We also now have the capability where you can call in the host, me, The Wrestling Show, on Skype, or you can do the regular call-in. But you can call in through Skype if you're, too scared to call in with your phone, or, you're across, you're in a foreign country and you don't want to deal with long distance, etc. But if long distance isn't a problem, you can call in our normal way, 347-237-5088. You can also tweet us at Wrestling Revolt. So many ways to interact with us on the show. This, of course, is probably the only wrestling podcast on the interwebs where you can call in and totally change the topic. You do not have to talk about what we are talking about, but it does have to do with pro wrestling. I am your host, The Block.
I am the co-host, Bobby Black, from the Unsquared Circle and WrestlingRevolution.com.
Okay, all. Of course, something exciting is going to happen. Oh, belay my last. Something boring is going to happen soon. It's called Hack Week. The first week of October, every year, at least for the foreseeable future, we have this thing called Hack Week, in which anyone, submits videos, and they must be boring and involve, really, you just got to emulate no creativity, just put no work in. I mean, I'm sure, Bobby Black, you can probably explain this better. What is the essence of Hack Week?
The essence of Hack Week is Beat Jose 101. It basically sums it up with 5 or 6 letters and 3 numbers.
Oh, so true. Oh, so true. But, of course, more details will come out. Not that there are more any details. It's basically be boring, make a video, submit it, no work. But
you can even do a talkback for Hack Week. Just title it Hack Week in the title and, put your sub-caption with it.
Yes,
Talkback is technically hackish.
That's true, but unlike that tout, we have a 1-minute time limit. And believe me, 30 seconds is enough of DH. Imagine a whole minute. All right, then. Moving on, of course, before this turns into a total ad or, those Saturday morning commercial things that last, tele-commercials, whatever it is. The word is slipping my mind, but we also have Golden Turnbuckle Awards.
An infomercial?
Yes, infomercial, thank you. Before this turns into an infomercial for Wrestling Revolution. We got Golden Turnbuckle Awards, but that is later this year. Stay tuned to the site for that as well. Okay, Bobby, what would you like to talk about? Hold on. Of course, if anyone wants to call in, change the topic, 213-325-3434, or you can contact me through Skype.
Or Twitter. Okay, do you want me to lead into the topic now?
Sure.
Okay. I thought you might have a caller on the line or something. Well, I guess we can talk about Night of Chumps. That pretty much turned out to be Night of Chumps.
It was a great pay-per-view.
It was okay. I'll give it that. I didn't see a lot of Orton and Ziggler. I heard it was great. So I look forward to seeing that match in its entirety. I saw the main event. It was actually good. However, still not a fan of John Cena. And this whole CM Punk John Cena thing is just really old and stupid. I'm really over it. So, Sheamus ADR, decent match. Still over it. Kane and Daniel Bryan, funny segments. Kind of over the whole tag team title thing, though. It's like, I don't like how the primetime players have been built up to be the tag champs for the past 8 months. Not 8 months, but, and all of a sudden now, hey, Kane and Daniel Bryan are the tag champs. Okay, so can we say, stupid?
Well, they're trying to spur interest in the tag division but they do this
No.
all the time.
To spur interest in the tag division, they need to generate tag teams, good tag teams, and have them win the tag titles.
Gasp.
We have a new Divas champion, which is Eve, which I'm not a fan of Eve whatsoever. So, I mean, I was a big fan of Layla because she can actually wrestle and she can actually, work a match. And Eve cannot. Eve's good at doing some flips and putting some headlocks on and winning a match with her breasts. So, I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of Eve's or her being Divas champion when they had Karma, Gail Kim, Alicia Fox,
Natalya.
And they have Beth Phoenix, Natalya. You're correct. Yeah. I mean, I even almost forgot about Natalya. I mean, you got all these, and you got Eve. So that's I'm sure there are other matches. Ryder versus Cesaro. I don't care much. I know Cesaro's like a big ROH guy, but I really don't care too much for him right now. I would have honestly preferred Ryder to win, but I mean, I guess give Cesaro a shot. I guess I don't know. So I mean, as that was another match I really didn't care too much for. So my Night of Champions, my stature, whatever you want to call it, ranking. There we go. I would say 2 out of 5, whatever you want to do. 2 out of 5 vodkas.
Really, really? Look, first off, it seemed that everybody but Natalya is going to win the title. It's like, all right, who else hasn't won the title? All right, how about that? How about that backstage ring hand or something? It's like anyone without talent can win. Second off, Punk and Cena is the feud of the year. You're just a hater.
Oh gosh.
And,
I'm not a hater. I'm just over it.
I know, because it's lasted more than 2 months. Well, technically, if you want to get technical, it's been like a year, but it's been like on and off. And you're a big fan of WCW, and they did long feuds.
Matches?
Oh, like the whole Sting feuding with everybody for a year. I'm going to hang in the rafters for 2 years.
No, I was never... Actually, I wasn't too much of a fan of the whole Sting thing either.
So would you say Sting still's got it?
No. Not at all. I think Sting needs to stick to backstage segments and hanging out in the rafters.
He can hang out in the bathroom for a year. What were you doing in there, Sting? I had to really go.
Earning a paycheck and not doing anything.
Poor TNA. Raw was pretty good, I guess, comparatively. They really need to not make it 3 hours. I can't do 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't think many people can nowadays. I mean, honestly, most of the time I forget it's on for 3 hours. So, but, I mean, I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I can't deal with it. WCW had enough diversity in their programming that you could deal with 3 hours of WCW because it's cruiserweights and, their mid-card was actually good. And then their main events, and then they had Goldberg, and they had all these fun things that you could cram into 3 hours and actually have a lot of diversity. However, WWE is still the same. They just give their people more time to talk and maybe 1 or 2 more matches.
That is not true. WWE has a mid-card. Here's how it breaks down. They have their main eventers, their jobbers, and their mid-card consists of people that they put in the main event but either didn't, like the fans didn't like, or they, panicked and they're like, oh no, they're not selling tickets. Let's, like people like The Miz or something. They just kind of, we'll just Christian, people that could be in the main event scene, but they're like, F them. So that's their mid-card. Former world, basically people that shouldn't be in the mid-card roster is main eventers.
Well, I don't know. As I said, I just don't see it happening.
Miz is the mid-card. Mark Henry.
That's a freaking shame that Miz is in the mid-card, honestly.
Who else? Drew McIntyre is almost in the mid card. More of a jobber now.
Yeah, I would definitely say he is a jobber. A jobber extraordinaire.
Wow, there is a list as long as some list that is really long of all the people that they pushed based on who knows what, or based on some fans' reactions that just utterly failed for whatever reason. All these bandwagon wrestlers. Kennedy, MVP, Drew McIntyre. The list can go on and on. Even The Miz. All these wrestlers that they just got behind and just dumped.
I miss MVP. How wish you? I mean, I know he's kind of doing the thing in Japan, but I do kind of miss him.
Yeah, he could form a tag team with Val Venus, but that's another story. See, of course, if anyone wants to call in and change the subject, hurry, change the subject, please. Call in at 347-237-5088. Of course, you can Skype myself, The Wrestling Show. Okay, we already covered Monday Night Raw, Night of Champions. Nobody really watches TNA. I know that they had Jeff Hardy win the series. Is that right? So he's gonna...
Jeff Hardy won the TNA Bound for Glory series, and the only reason why was because they wanted him to re-sign the contract. So there's really no guarantee that he's still going to stay with the company. They just wanted him to re-sign. So that's why they had him in the Bound for Glory series, which originally James Storm was supposed to win it.
Oh, well, James Storms isn't over like Jeff Hardy. Like, I don't see why... Like, why did Jeff Hardy... Like, okay, so their logic is he might stay if he wins, but, like, why do they want him to stay? Like, what does he bring to the company? Like, is anybody going to be... Somebody from WWE is going to be like, oh, my goodness, Jeff Hardy is wrestling in TNA. Let's watch TNA instead.
Yeah, I really don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, I love how they let their television champion just take off with the belt.
Well, I mean, that's edgy TV. That happened back in the day all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when Medusa showed up at WCW.
Yes, exactly. Your favorite diva, I'm sure, Medusa, right behind Nicole Bass and I don't know, Chyna.
Yep, I would say that those are my three favorite divas of all time.
And Velvet Sky's like at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, she would be. I mean, she's just a straight-up hoochie, I would say.
Yeah, who wants that? Who wants a woman to look like a woman? That's disgusting.
No, yep, I agree with you. I would say that a woman that looks like a woman is completely disgusting.
Exactly. So something we talk about Jeff Hardy. Oh yeah. So I was gonna say, like, yeah, well, even when they brought Kurt Angle and like Christian in, it didn't matter too much. What they need to do is focus on people that aren't WWE or WCW. I mean, even if they're not homegrown TNA like AJ Styles, even if they bring him in from another company, at least it's not some mainstream castaway, because usually they're either too old or they're broken or something. But,
well, I mean, I like the fact that they brought Austin Aries in, though. I mean, Austin Aries, I think, is...
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, at least he's not old.
Yeah, and he's not purebred like WWE or, TNA or anything. So they can claim a little bit of originality, but not like an overabundance of originality to it, because all the smarks know
that ROH is the best.
ROH rocks.
Actually, the Smarks and the YWC crowd does not like ROH now. You must pay attention to the Hack Lord, Truth Slayer. It's all about, like,
why don't they
now.
like...
It's like Chikara and Japan wrestling, which nothing against Japanese wrestling, but I definitely cannot follow the announcing, and they just do chops mostly. Lots of chops, bloody chops.
Chop. Kind of like Monica Lewinsky. Or not Monica Lewinsky. Who's the one that Lorena Bobbitt? There we go.
Yes, or that chick that hit the other chick with the crowbar. The ice skating thing, she chopped her knee or something with a crowbar.
Dang, I didn't even hear about that one.
You need to go back and review your 90s Olympic ice hockey news.
Olympic ice hockey. Gotcha.
Why am I drawing a blank? I don't know. It's just two chicks and something about a crowbar.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty hot. That would kind of make me lose my lunch, too.
Exactly. They were probably influenced by pro wrestling. I mean, who in real life takes a weapon to somebody and just hits them?
Well, I would imagine that it would be somebody with mental disorders, roid rage, or someone who watches WWE their whole life.
I guess, because I've learned that doing finishers and hitting people with weapons does not get you a promotion.
Yeah, that's true. I've tried that as well, and it just doesn't seem to work out too well for me. That's one thing we could talk about: backyard wrestling.
Ooh.
I know that we both used to be in a league back in the day. I don't know how many people were considered in how big your federation was considered, but mine had a good 6 or 7 people, depending on the day.
Ooh.
And, we had a self-created tag. It was called EWF Extreme Wrestling Federation, and it was I'm trying to remember. There was a world title, mid-card title, and tag titles that we had. We were awesome.
Unfortunately, I don't think you can prove this awesomeness because unlike you, myself, and my wrestling mates have proof on the YouTube. You can type in WarGreymon3190 into YouTube, or perhaps later I'll put a link on this Blog Talk Radio just in case you want to check it. Although I think that now that we're talking about backyard wrestling, we're probably losing callers. We're probably going to get negative callers. But, I mean, be honest, everybody. Who back in the 90s and early 2000s didn't at least, do one little pretend, like wrestling little match? Back then, that was the thing to do. Heck, they put out DVDs, which were lame. Like, it was just random backyard wrestling. It was like backyard wrestling best of. And just randomly throughout the DVD, they would have this, like, random chick, like, doing sexual innuendo stuff. And I guess they were trying to sell DVDs. But, yeah. Have you ever heard of that back in the night?
No, I've never seen it, but I will have to look that up. I do believe, what's the name of that? One Night in China, I do believe is the name of that video.
Yes, but that is definitely not backyard wrestling.
Oh, that's, I thought that was backyard something. I mean, maybe not wrestling, but.
Huh. So did you ever win the big one?
Win the big one?
In the Federation?
No, I was one half of the tag champs, and I held the mid-card title for a while, actually.
Huh. My accomplishment is I am a Grand Slam champion. I fell off a roof, and I broke my neck. I think this was all in the same... Yes, falling off a ladder is fun.
I fell off a ladder. I busted my friend and tag team partner, might I add, at the time. Well, not at the time, but we became tag team partners. I busted his lip open. Yeah, so it was kind of fun to, destroy your best friends in their parents' backyard.
Yeah, that was a cool thing to back. You came out with theme music and all that stuff.
Yeah, we had that because we had a big stereo thingy hooked up, and so it was actually really cool back in the day. We thought we were really cool, and we thought the chicks would dig it, and we were wrong. But hey, at least we can say we did it.
That's right. Remember, kids at home, don't try what we've just discussed at home. It's dangerous, and plus you'll probably get made fun of. At least back in our day, people would just kind of look and be like, silly kids. Now they'll probably call the
Nowadays,
cops
it's
or
like
something.
you'll get like people like dressed up in like coats, and they will come to your house and try to take you away.
Yes, in white minivans. So, if you have a backyard wrestling story, or if you want to talk about professional wrestling, heavens forbid, you can call in at 347-237-5088, or please tweet us, or you can insult myself or Bobby Black.
Yes, I prefer to be insulted. I don't like good discussion. I like insult. I like that's why I like The Rock, because The Rock he doesn't actually talk to people. He just insults people and uses that as his form of communication.
I will, as a Rock fan, somewhat agree. I wonder if he does that in real life. Just can't have a normal, casual conversation like the mailman delivers his mail. He just starts talking smack. Silly Rock.
There was a time and a place where The Rock was cool, and The Rock actually, was something that somebody admired, but now, not anymore. And then, by the way, that would have never been me. I just want to let everybody out there know that.
You did. You were probably like the Black or something when you wrestled in your federation, and you probably did elbows.
No, I was...
That's why there's no proof of it, because you deleted it all. Because you're a Rock fan. You're a Rock fan.
I was definitely a sharpshooter guy. I definitely was a submission guy. I did cross faces, sharpshooters, Texas cloverleafs.
Those aren't real moves.
What else did I do? Besides your mom.
Probably lose.
Well, and I did a rock bottom once, just to prove how dumb the move was.
Funny story is, I did the block bottom. It was pretty much the same, but with a different name. But, unlike The Rock, I actually did moves, and I fell off high things, so technically you could call me a high flyer? High faller, perhaps.
High faller, haha. Block, I wish I had the charisma that you had.
I know. I am one notch above DH. Or below. Depends how you look at it. On the charisma scale, we will say.
Well, we all know that how DH falls into the whole scheme of things. I mean, he just, women just are pulled by him. Men are just confused by him.
Yes, he's somewhat like he's what would happen if you made Orlando Jordan straight and non-charismatic.
I don't know about the whole straight thing. I mean, you may be able to keep Orlando Jordan the same. There are times I wonder.
I would just like to point out that his new theme song would, instead of be simply amazing, it'd be simply,
Simply,
Yes, but I like the flow of this show so far. You, of course, can join the flow of this show by calling in. We went from talking about the pay-per-view to Raw to, I think, making fun of WCW in some random point. Then we talked about TNA. Then we got on to Backyard Wrestling. And then we got on to the segment where Bobby Black admitted that I am the better backyard wrestler and vlogger than he. Which would be right now, this segment.
Yeah. But by the way, I since we're going on random things here, I might as well just I'm pretty much 100% decided that my worst matches in history, because everyone knows that those have kind of been not around at the moment. That's because my YouTube channel got flagged because of one of my videos, the worst matches in history, which is technically not okay, but I'm not going to really do too much about it. But what I am going to try to do about it is I might be taking my worst matches in history exclusively on WrestlingRevolution.com.
What was the name of that website? I forgot.
WrestlingRevolution.com.
The epicenter for all your wrestling needs. We have forums. We have Talkback, which is way better than Tout. And we have videos, not just of staff, but of members, basically various members of the YWC that decide to join our cool site because they are tired of the YWC drama and boring. And of course, we have Twitter. We have all the social media. Basically, you just have to go to the site because otherwise, this would turn into an infomercial.
Which it is not, of course. This is not an infomercial for WrestlingRevolution.com. They have it set up for all your wrestling needs.
So we probably have about 6 or 7 minutes left, depending on what you set your clock to. I personally set my clock to the Weather Channel, which is the most accurate time, though some set their clock according to the Atomic Standard, which is based out of, I guess, Washington, D.C. Anyway, this is about pro wrestling, not about clock standards. I would like to say that I am not at all looking forward to The Rock versus CM Punk at Royal Rumble, even being a Rock fan, because it'll make the title mean even less than it does now, since it hasn't ever really main evented, except I guess this last pay-per-view. Usually CM Punk has never main evented, so there's a problem there.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
John Cena? But I heard he injured himself. We're going to have no more Cena, right?
Nope, he just rolled on his ankle. So
no, I heard he had If you go to some other website, boo, WWE, apparently he has a bone chip somewhere. Let me check it out. One of the few things that got by WrestlingRevolution.com's news editors. Yes, John Cena undergoes arm surgery.
Oh, wow. I actually did not know that.
Also here it says he's going through gender change surgery. John Cena
that's not surprising.
The latter may be false, but, I mean, why not? If you're going in for surgery, you might as well get everything done in once. I mean, he can afford it.
Just makes more sense. So hopefully John Cena will be missing plenty of time and recovery. We hope you a safe and lengthy recovery, John Cena.
As safe and lengthy. But who's going to fill John Cena's shoes? Maybe they can get Brodus Clay. I mean, Brodus Clay has like 5 moves, and he's over with the fans.
Well, this is what John Cena tweeted earlier today. He said, leaving the Andrews Institute, what super surgeon Dr. James Andrews is. You guys have my word. I will do whatever I can to be active ASAP, because who I have become, I daily deal with large doses of negativity. No biggie, always raise above the hate. But seeing as all your messages really means a lot to me, I just wanted to say thanks.
Oh.
You know, I think that's honestly where, that's what he had removed is, clumps of steroid that's been blocked up in there. Is all there.
You said clumps of steroid. Look, John Cena's never done steroids. They do drug tests.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know. And I believe it. I mean, John Cena is always true to his word, and he's very honest. He raises above the hate.
I wonder if they drug test.
Is hate.
Do they drug test the divas?
You know, I've never heard of a diva getting suspended.
I know. At least not over drugs. I don't think over suspended, period, but definitely not over drugs. That's sexist.
Yeah, well, I pointed that out years ago on the Unscored Circle.
Oh, really? Stop making stuff up.
You know, on my monthly news program back in 2008 to 2010. I did. I pointed out that was it 2008 to 2009? I don't remember. Anyway, but I pointed out that none of the divas had ever been drug tested or had never been found positive for drugs. So I don't know if they haven't been drug testing them, but they've never been found positive for drugs. However, they have been found positive for scabies and crabs and syphilis and.
That's true.
And
do they get tested
Kelly
for
Kelly's
that?
results.
Hey, Kelly is all woman.
She's all breast implants, too.
See how great this show is, fans? Look how we just flow and evolve to just talk about... Somehow we always end up talking about wrestling, but it's not the same thing. This show is great. If I was a caller, I'd call in. But I'm pretty
Well,
sure I
it's
came
okay.
up with the female drug tested. You can't take credit for that for some obsolete video. I'll have to search your videos.
Obsolete. Do I have to post on YouTube the original video that I said that in just to prove it, Mister? Mr. had to post his original what's his face wrestling fan video, which by the way, Grumpy Cheeto is a real person.
Well, wrestling fan may or may not be a real person, but at least he debuted first.
Whatever. You know what? I think that we should have Grumpy Cheeto and Wrestling Fan host a show. I'll get in contact with Grumpy Cheeto. You should get in contact with Wrestling Fan, and we should convince them to do the Hack Week video.
So
or the Hack Week show.
You want me to call a dude that busted my skull open?
Yes.
Isn't he? He's in prison. Well, I guess he got out by now. Because it was only
I mean, they don't keep internet sensations in the big house very long.
Well, that definitely would be an interesting idea. I'm not going to call him. I'll get one of my people to call him.
Your people to contact his people?
I mean, I'll have to admit that he seems to gather more fan attraction than myself, but that is only because I am so intellectually intelligent that the unwashed masses cannot comprehend the vocabulary and intellect that emulates from me. That's probably why you get a little dizzy while you're co-hosting the show. You're like, whoa, he is overwhelming me with knowledge.
I'm sorry, I stopped listening like 5 minutes ago. What'd you say?
Go to WrestlingRevolution.com.